Now at 8 o'clock, a local chiropractor detained by ICE while dropping his child off at a Beaverton preschool. Why ICE says they arrested the man and what will come next for him and his family. Plus,
it's going to destroy the neighborhood. What are people around here going to do?
The reaction from shoppers after a Northeast Portland grocery store announces it will close later this year.
And later this half hour, Governor Kotek declaring a state of emergency over the state's wildfire season, while crews in Central Oregon continue to face big issues fighting the largest fire in the state. The 8 o'clock hour of Sunrise starts right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 8 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. If you thought yesterday was hot, you weren't wrong. In fact, it ended up being the hottest day of the year so far in Portland, but we are experiencing a bit of a cool off today, Chris.
A bit of a cool down, and we'll continue stair-stepping down as we head into the weekend. You like that? Down, down, down. All right, here we go. We are starting to see a little broken cloud cover working its way into downtown Portland. Yesterday at this time, I thought it would be more widespread than it is, but it's arriving, so we'll go mostly sunny to partly cloudy for a brief while this morning. 61 last check at PDX. It's 61 in Beaverton, Hillsborough, 60, and 61 in Salem. The big perspective across the state, it's still going to be a hot day east of the Cascades. 75 right now in the Dalles. Pendleton also sitting at 75 degrees. All right, the plan for today, again, mostly sunny to partly cloudy this morning. Temperatures yesterday at lunchtime were in the mid-80s. Today we're mid-70s. We'll top out around 89 degrees. So yes, cooler than yesterday's 97. And as we mentioned, that cooling trend will continue into the weekend. We'll get a look at that forecast in just a few minutes. I want to start off the traffic report with a TriMet alert. Ongoing police activity near the Convention Center stop has that closed. TriMet saying that blue, green, and red lines now are not serving the Convention Center. Use the Rose Quarter Transit Center instead for your stop, and that's just a few blocks to the west, but just be aware of that. We're working to get more details on that. I'll bring those to you just as soon as we have them. East side of Vancouver, something was hanging up the drive south of St. John's Road. It looks like that's improving on I-205 southbound, and you get down to SR 500, and the drive certainly opens up a little bit on that side of town. I-5 through Tualatin, that is busy. The northbound I-5 commute certainly a little thick there. Whoops, lost that one. Sorry for that camera shot. The drive out of Clark County on I-5 is still slow, 24 minutes now, Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. Top story here at 8 o'clock. ICE agents arrested a local chiropractor while he was dropping his child off at a Beaverton preschool. Now, an ICE spokesperson, that is, says officers did try to arrest him during a traffic stop before they got to the school, but they say he asked them to let him drop off his child first.
They say once he was in the school parking lot, he resisted arrest and wouldn't get out of his car. ICE officers then broke one of his windows to detain him. Celine Stevens brings us more.
They smashed out his window, pulled him out.
Brendan Hendricks is talking about what happened to Dr. Mahdi Khanbabazadeh in Beaverton Tuesday morning. Hendricks learned through an email from the school that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents detained the 38-year-old chiropractor who was dropping his child off at Guidepost Montessori.
Our principal came outside and asked for identification, badges, a warrant, that information, and they did not provide any identification or any of that other information, and then proceeded to put hands on our principal.
Khanbabazadeh was then taken, leaving many shocked.
Regardless if this was a misdemeanor or a hardened criminal or whatever in between, there's no reason a preschool needed to be used as a backdrop for the operation. That's careless.
This is a surprise. I trust him with my health, and I'm shocked that he is in custody. He's a super great guy.
In a statement, ICE wrote that the doctor, who is a citizen of Iran, entered the U.S. legally but overstayed the terms of his visa. However, his wife told us that is not true and that she is trying to get him released.
A pillar of the community, so he doing everything right and helping people of all economic strata. He seemed to help everybody.
Those who know Khanbabazadeh describe him as a kind, generous, and honest man.
There's a time and place for things, and I don't want to pass judgment, but I think it begs the question, why did they have to do it there? Because that's kind of theatrical, and the exposure to children is a bit of a head scratcher.
A statement from the school's regional manager says that they are actively supporting family and staff and providing resources to help them process the event. They're also looking into steps to make sure their campus remains safe for everyone.
We're also hearing from farming communities in southern Oregon this morning about the ongoing threats of ICE arrests there. So some farm employers are allegedly exploiting workers' fears about immigration enforcement, particularly in the hemp and marijuana industries. Advocates for those workers say that some of them aren't getting paid after they finish a job, and they say if these workers complain about it, they're threatened with deportation.
The fear is real. Before 1985, before the amnesty happened, we just stay on the labor camp. We stay hiding. We don't come out so often. And I believe people are going to do the same thing, and I don't blame them.
So that same advocate we just heard from there also says that because federal law still considers growing marijuana a felony, workers at marijuana farms are often afraid to testify against their employers, even if they are being exploited.
Your time now is 8:06. Fred Meyer says it plans to close its Gateway location in Northeast Portland after its parent company Kroger reported last month that about 60 stores will shut down nationwide.
Yeah, the company hasn't given a specific timeline for when the Gateway store will close, but they did tell us that the decision was part of, quote, a larger company-wide decision to run more efficiently and ensure the long-term health of our business. Employees at that Gateway location will be offered the opportunity to transfer to a new store. We also spoke to some shoppers who say that they're concerned at this point about the impact that closing this store will have on their neighborhood.
Gateway is the middle mark of everybody's travel.
But the whole property, then it's going to sit vacant, and then you're going to have 500 people with tents here.
Again, we do not have a specific timeline for when that Gateway location will close. All right, back to our heat story. We know yesterday was 97 in Portland. Again, the warmest day of the year so far in the city. But cooling shelters in Multnomah County still weren't open.
So that meant a homeless woman who's 9 months pregnant was stuck in the heat. Stephanie Gomez became homeless after a divorce, and now she's pregnant with her 5th child and is also addicted to fentanyl. Those close to her say that she uses the drug every 15 minutes. Research shows fentanyl can have a devastating impact on babies exposed during pregnancy. And yesterday, volunteer outreach workers tried taking her to Project Nurture, a group helping pregnant women struggling with addiction.
I'm not really worried about it. It seems like a lot of people that have delivered with fentanyl seem to be okay. Their kids seem to be okay.
Now, if you want to hear more of Stephanie's story and the efforts to help her and her baby, you can watch our full story anytime on our TV app, KGW+. This November, Portland voters will have to decide whether to support a large tax hike to help pay for parks. So the current parks levy is expiring, and the new levy is 75% higher. City Council President Ilana Pertolgini says that without the increase, Parks and Rec will have to cut services by nearly half. And here's some of the testimony councilors heard before their vote to put the issue on the November ballot.
Affordability in Portland is facing death by 1,000 cuts, with recent huge utility hikes, large increases in parking, rideshare, and other fees, and now a major tax increase in this levy.
I encourage City Council to refer this parks levy to the November ballot. While I am no fan of additional taxes in Portland and agree with our previous speaker, I do support this levy at $1.40 because I believe in our park system and its importance to the city.
Councilors said that they were able to reduce the amount needed in the levy by making cuts to Parks Bureau in the city budget.
All right, one of our top stories this morning is Governor Kotek declaring a state of emergency for the Cram fire that continues to burn in Central Oregon. You can take a look at this video here. It shows the wildfire smoke. It is out of control at this point, zero visibility.
Now, since the fire began last Sunday, it exploded to more than 64,000 acres and is still 0% contained. Now, Governor Kotek's state of emergency lasts through the end of the year and will help first responders get access to resources. Fire managers say that lighter winds yesterday meant that fire activity was less than expected, but those winds have been one of the biggest challenges for crews so far.
The wind just kind of takes it where we can't go, and they tried really yesterday. Had a lot of airplane and aircraft, dropping retardants, buckets with helicopters that bulldozer lines, and they couldn't catch up because the fire was moving so fast.
Some 1,200 people are now under evacuation orders in both Jefferson and Wasco counties.
All right, time to get back to Chris McGinnis. I almost said Rod Hill, but Chris McGinnis is still in for Rod this morning. And Chris, we are keeping an eye on those winds.
Yeah, so here is the visible satellite imagery from yesterday. I'm using this because I've got the full day of yesterday to show you what this looked like from above. And you can see in the morning hours, the smoke kind of laid down, but then during the heat of the day, the fuel's drying out and the breeze picking up, that those flames got fanned and the smoke plume really evolved. Look at it billowing there. In eastern Jefferson County, and eventually that smoke plume then works its way into Grant, Wheeler County, and points east. That is likely to happen again today, and even more so. Here's a look at the smoke plume forecast by late this afternoon, and you can see it is clearly sending that plume out as far east as the Blues, that the sky will become noticeably hazy and smoky. So Fossil, Mitchell, John Day, maybe out towards LeGrand and Baker City, you will notice that today and tomorrow, as the prevailing wind will carry that smoke in those directions. Of course, the air quality is not good. The air quality alert remains in effect for Jefferson County. And beyond that, because the westerly wind is forecast to be fairly strong today and tomorrow, not only around the Cram Fire, but in other areas east of the Cascades, through the gorge, and in the Columbia Basin, fire danger is exceptionally high today, hence the red flag warning for today and tomorrow. Here's a look at futurecast wind gusts. They'll be whipping through the gorge, East Gorge today, upwards of 40, 45 miles an hour. So anything that throws a spark in situations like that with really dry, tender grouse, you get the idea. That could be a problem very, very quickly. Contrast that with a quieter forecast for us today and a calmer, cooler forecast. I think that's the deal. 61 right now in Portland, and our forecast high today. Yesterday we were 97, the hottest day of the year so far. Today we dial it back to 89. Tomorrow 86, and I'll step out of the way. You can see the weekend forecast is actually very pleasant. Sunday may be a day that we wake up to some fairly thick cloud cover before it burns off with highs in the upper 70s. All right, let's talk about the drive. We start off with a TriMet alert. Ongoing police activity at the Max Convention Center stop has that effectively closed to the blue, green, and red lines. And what that means is that TriMet's asking folks to use the Rose Quarter Transit Center instead of the Convention Center. All right, your drive right now. Let's zoom into Clark County. The end of the line on the I-5 commute has made its way down to the Interstate Bridge, but from there it's slow and go the rest of the way down into the Rose Quarter. About 20 minutes or so gets you from SR 14 to I-405. Over on the west side, there's the inbound Sunset, climbing the hill from 217 to Sylvan. That's slow. I-5 northbound through the 205 interchange in Tualatin. That's a little thick as well. Your drive times shape up like this. I-5 from Wilsonville holding steady now at about 30 minutes to get you into downtown. Guys.
Thank you, Chris. We know a lot of people hit local lakes and rivers yesterday to try and beat that upper 90s heat. But coming up here on Sunrise, we're going to hear from first responders who were quick to remind us that the summer months also mean a spike in heat-related emergency calls. Also coming up.
It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net.
Amid the growing controversy over releasing files in the case of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, President Trump is blasting some of his own supporters who he says have fallen into a hoax. I'm Alice Barr in Washington. Latest details coming up.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Multnomah County says the summer months bring with them more heat-related trips to the ER, which makes sense, right? And even though local rivers and lakes are popular spots to cool off, first responders say people still need to be careful in those waters. So for more on the safety warnings, here's KGW's John Adams.
As the Portland area continues to endure its hottest stretch of the year, people have flocked to rivers and lakes to find relief, including High Rocks Park in Gladstone.
It's beautiful weather. It's nice to be on the river watching all the kids play the summertime, staying out of trouble. You know, it's really hot outside, so it's nice to be able to jump in the water when you get too hot.
A member of the AMR River Rescue Team told us High Rocks and Glen Otto Park on the Sandy River continue to see hundreds of visitors.
It's definitely getting busier the hotter that it gets because everyone wants to come to the river and cool down.
On the Willamette River, Sergeant Nate Thompson with the Clackamas County Marine Unit says it's been busy with the increased temperatures. He urges people getting in the water to come prepared.
Even if you're swimming on the beach, it's really great to have a life jacket with you. We've had, some near drownings lately, and we don't want to have any drownings this summer. And, having that life jacket with you can save your life or help save someone else.
As the number of 90-degree days increases in the area, so do emergency room visits in Multnomah County. 2024 had the second highest number of incidents in the last decade.
Last summer, we saw 170 visits for heat-related illness to the emergency room department, which was the second highest behind the year of the heat dome.
Those we spoke with say finding a cool spot and staying hydrated is key to beating the heat.
Stay in the water, go in the water, drink water, a lot of water.
John Adams, KGW News.
For me, no matter how hot it gets, I still feel like the water here is too cold to get in. It's so cold.
Yesterday, I left work, right? I'm in my dress shirt still, like the white dress shirt. I'm in my slacks, my suit slacks. And I went to my son's company picnic. They work for a car dealership, and they had a company picnic. So I went with them. I'm playing cornhole in 97 degrees.
Are you just pitting out?
Well, I'm in that white shirt, so I could be sweaty as I want it to be. It's all white.
Yeah.
But people are looking at me, man, you're a real trooper, dressed like that playing cornhole. That's, no water for me. Chris, I was just playing cornhole yesterday in those 97-degree temperatures.
How you feeling right now? You a little
right now, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yesterday,
not the air conditioning. Here's a look at some of the notable highs from yesterday. Yesterday, as mentioned, the hottest day of the year thus far at PDX, 97. Troutdale and Eugene hit 98. Vancouver, 96. As did Kelso. Kelso hit 96 yesterday. And along the North Oregon coast, not a record, but Astoria got to 79 degrees. All right, those are the notable highs from yesterday. We're done with that. And not only are we done with that today, but I wanted to peel back the curtain a little bit and give you a look at the the longer range forecast. Beyond the range of our 7-day forecast, this is the outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, which basically takes us through the end of the month, through July 30th. July has 31 days, right? Close enough. The point is that there's no sign one way or the other of any high heat in the forecast. That's not to say we won't hit 90 between now and July 31st, but there are no signs of days and days of hot weather in the picture. So I'm happy to report that. All right, that said, the other weather story, of course, is the fire weather situation on the east side of the state. The Columbia River Gorge is going to be quite warm. Today, again, 90 in Hood River, west winds sustained at 15 to 25 with much higher gusts. Central Oregon, smoky skies in Jefferson County. The air quality alert continues there. 96 in Madras. That smoke from the Cram fire blowing into the sky in eastern Oregon as well. Baker City, Mitchell, Fossil, John Day. You will be seeing a hazy sky as a result of the Cram fire smoke. Contrast that with the Oregon coast right now. Lincoln City, the live look from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera. On the beach, that is the beach. Can't really tell because it's fogged in right now, but eventually that fog will lift. It's cool, it's 56. We should finish the day with some afternoon sunshine and generally upper 60s along the Oregon coast today instead of near 80. Astoria was 79, today you'll shoot for 66. All right, Salem right now sits at 61. Salem again, another one of those hot spots yesterday. Today it'll be hot. I mean, 90 is hot, but not as hot. Not as hot today. And we'll walk back the temperatures a few more degrees tomorrow. 86 in Corvallis and up the I-5 corridor. Again, Longview yesterday. Kelso was 96 yesterday. How about 86 in Longview today? 89 in Vancouver. Same story, 89 here in Portland. So stopping just shy of 90, we think. 86 or maybe not tomorrow, 80 or maybe not. And when I say not, maybe falling just shy of those numbers on Saturday. And I do think there's a good chance we stay in the 70s on Sunday with brief morning clouds. You'll know, though, that there's not a drop of rain in that forecast. And not that that's all that much of a surprise for this time of the year, but it remains dry, quite dry. All right, let's get you out the door, and we start off with the TriMet alert. Ongoing police activity at the Convention Center Max stop, meaning that the stop right now is closed. The blue, green, and red lines are not making stops there. They're going to the Rose Quarter instead, or that's the recommendation, is to use the Rose Quarter Transit Center instead. We're working to get more details on what exactly that is. We'll bring those to you just as soon as we have them. Back to your drive on the roads right now through the Gladstone area, I-205 South, building, of course, from Clackamas south through Gladstone and into West Lynn. 12 miles an hour is what our speed sensors indicate there. Something was hanging up the drive on Breeze Hill southbound. This is I-5 at Barber Boulevard. It looks like the drive's picked up a little bit, but there's still a little extra slowing there. And the trip out of Clark County, the end of the line has made its way down to the interstate bridge on I-5. So getting better, but still about 20 minutes from bridge to bridge from the interstate to the Fremont. Guys?
Thank you, Chris. Coming up in your morning rush, a first look at next year's Olympic medals as players and fans count down to Milan Cortina.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Some Republican lawmakers are now calling on the full Epstein files to be released, a campaign promise of President Donald Trump. Just last week, the Justice Department and the FBI said that they would not release the full files. NBC's Alice Barr brings us more. This from Washington, D.C.
As a rare rift divides MAGA world over the Jeffrey Epstein case, President Trump growing increasingly frustrated with some of his own supporters.
It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net.
In a lengthy post on social media, disowning supporters he called weaklings for buying into what he terms BS. But while the president blames Democrats, right-wing influencers and some members of his own administration were among the loudest voices perpetuating conspiracy theories, believing that Epstein, who was charged and died by suicide in jail during the first Trump term, did not kill himself and that he left an incriminating client list. Here's FBI Director Kash Patel 2 years ago.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
President Trump made a campaign promise to release the Epstein files, but last week the Justice Department and FBI contradicted the swirling conspiracies and said they would not release more evidence. Attorney General Pam Bondi has been taking the heat from angered MAGA allies, with some now directed at the president himself.
If you talk about this, I'm going to excommunicate you. Well, you're not the Pope, bro.
Some Republican lawmakers calling for more disclosures.
The Epstein files need to be released.
I would say make it all public.
As President Trump stands by his attorney general.
She says, I gave you all the credible information.
And presses his base to move on. Multiple federal law enforcement officials tell NBC News the memo reaffirming Epstein was not murdered behind bars and that he did not keep a client list accurately describes the investigation's findings. President Trump says if the Attorney General does find more credible information, she should release it. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Now to your morning rush. White House officials are reportedly traveling to the San Francisco Bay Area today to formally launch an effort to turn Alcatraz back into a federal prison. The Office of Congresswoman, Nancy Pelosi confirmed the visit, but we haven't heard anything official from the White House. Connie Francis, the pop singer who rose to prominence during the 50s and 60s, has died, according to her publicist. The New Jersey native hits include Where the Boys Are and Who's Sorry Now. She also made history in the 1960s by becoming the first woman to top Billboard's Hot 100 with her song Everybody's Somebody Fool. We still don't know the cause of her death. Francis was 87 years old. And the medals for next year's Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games in Italy were revealed in Venice earlier this week. So here's a look at the designs. The rings are there in the center. They were made from recycled metals using renewable energy. And that's your morning rush. Coming up in our next half hour, we take a look at the dangers of using nitrous oxide after a man died in a crash involving a driver who had more than 100 nitrous oxide canisters in his car. Plus, more of this body cam video that shows a car hitting a Milwaukee officer's patrol car and almost the officer too during a traffic stop. We'll be right back.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
All right, welcome back. I want to get you updated on this scene that we saw in Northeast Portland. You're looking live right now at Northeast Holiday. The Max Transit Center there, the Max Transit stop at the convention center is closed right now for ongoing police activity. What that means is no blue, green, or red lines making stops there. They're asking riders to use the Rose Quarter Transit Center instead. So we will certainly keep you posted on that. The rest of your drive, of course, is busy, but moving along. All right, let's switch gears real quick, and we'll get you your 7-day forecast here. We are going to be cooler today. We were 97 yesterday. We dialed back the heat a little bit, 89 this afternoon, and that cooling trend continues into the weekend. I've got us at 86 on Friday. down to as low as 78 on Sunday with morning clouds clearing. The good news is there are no signs of excessive heat in the forecast over the next 7 to 10 days, but we are concerned east of the Cascades about some gusty winds fanning the flames of the Cram fire. More on that as we continue to roll on KGW streaming.
Who's stealing the spotlight in the new Superman movie? Not just Superman, but this little guy, Crypto, his dog. The Super Pup's big screen debut has sparked a surge in pet adoption interest. Google searches for Adopt a Dog Near Me jumped over 500% after the film's release. Fans are even looking to adopt a schnauzer just like Crypto. Now, maybe CGI, but he's having a real impact.
You know, I remember wanting a dog after I watched Rocky, not surprised by the Rocky mention. Hey, what can I tell you? It's my favorite all-time movie.
We know.
Did you name your first dog Butkus?
I was going to say, Rocky, I don't know if you knew this, his dog's name was Butkus. Ran with Butkus in the original Rocky movie. So I could see where, you know, a good movie could inspire you to get a good dog.
Butkus.
I didn't name the dog. That's what Rocky named the dog.
Okay.
It was big in the 70s.
Yes.
Had to be there.
Don't question the Rock.
Had to be there.
All right, Chris McGinnis, we were not in the 70s yesterday. We were not in the 80s yesterday. We were way into the 90s.
Knocking on the door of 100. Not quite, but yeah, we were 97 yesterday at PDX. That will not be the case today. Certainly cooler today, and that stair-stepping downward in the temperature department will continue as we roll through the next couple of days. It's 61 last check at PDX. We're 60 in Hillsborough. Hillsborough was 96 degrees. Kelso right now sits at 60. Yesterday, Kelso hit 96 degrees. Salem hit 97 yesterday. We're going to shave a good 8 to 10 degrees off the temperatures for most folks west side of the state in the Willamette Valley. Meanwhile, east side of the state still quite warm. Bend's at 72. The Dalles and Pendleton already at 75 degrees. Here's the plan for today. Instead of mid-80s at lunchtime, I've got us at 77. And instead of upper 90s, we're going to settle for the upper 80s today. I've got Portland stopping just shy of 90 degrees this afternoon, and as we mentioned, the trend will be downward with the temperatures as we head into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You want to stick around for that 7-day forecast. All right, let's get you back through the drive, and we start with a traffic alert in Northeast Portland. This is a live shot from photojournalist Chad Dehart on the scene at the the Max Convention Center stop. There is an ongoing police investigation now here on Northeast Holiday at the stop. We don't have a lot of details at this point, but I can tell you that Northeast Holiday is closed, and for TriMet riders, this is significant. For the Max Blue, Green, and Red lines, the train is not stopping at that station due to that investigation. They're asking folks to continue on to the Rose Quarter Transit Center for now. As I mentioned, Northeast Holiday also closed and will be for a few hours, we're hearing, between Northeast 2nd and MLK Boulevard. All right, your freeway drive still busy. This is over on the east side. I-205 south of Clackamas heading down towards Oregon City. All 3 lanes slow and go there. The inbound Sunset, of course, still slow at the Sylvan Hill. I-5 south of town getting better. We had some slowing here at Breeze Hill a few minutes ago, but it looks like that has cleared out. At last check, your trip from Clark County, 21 minutes to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. China?
Thank you, Chris. This morning, we have a follow-up to a KGW investigation into the dangers surrounding nitrous oxide, otherwise known as laughing gas.
KGW investigative reporter Kyla Boshi has been reporting on the spike in dangerous cases for months now. So in this morning's update, he's looking at what he found is the greatest risk here, what people do while huffing the drug.
It's the phone call we all fear, a loved one killed in a crash. On May 14, 2022, John Curtis got that call.
Yeah. I'll never forget it.
His father, Carl Curtis, and longtime partner Yvonne Levy had been killed in a crash just hours after attending a family wedding.
I couldn't believe it. You know, I didn't want to believe it. Still don't want to believe it.
According to police, the driver of this red Mazda veered across multiple lanes of Highway 20 in Lynn County, slamming head-on into Carl and Yvonne's silver sedan. The driver of that red Mazda, Robert Prettyman, survived, along with his 3-year-old daughter, who was a passenger in the car. Investigators said Prettyman was impaired. A search of his car found 46 used Whippet brand nitrous oxide canisters, court records show, and another 78 unused chargers in his daughter's Minnie Mouse backpack. A judge sentenced Prettyman to 8 years in prison for manslaughter.
The fact that this guy had over 70 cans of this nitrous in his daughter's backpack. I was like, who does this?
Nitrous oxide chargers are intended for bakers and baristas to make whipped cream, or so the label says. But it's being misused by people inhaling the gas to get high.
I didn't even realize I didn't know what whippets were, until this happened.
KGW found nitrous oxide widely available at gas stations, convenience stores, and mini-marts in sizes absurd for chefs, but ideal for huffing. As part of our ongoing investigation, we examine the dangers of nitrous oxide, not only for the people misusing the drug, but for everyone on the road. We found nearly 24 cases in Oregon over the past 6 years where drivers who'd been using inhalants were arrested or involved in an accident. Our full investigation coming up tonight at 6. Kyle Aboshi, KGW News.
All right, up next here on Sunrise, newly released body cam video that shows a driver slamming into the back of a Milwaukee police patrol car. Take a look.
I'm having a hard time seeing it there, brother. Thank you, man. I just had a car crash into the back of my patrol car and almost ran me over.
Really close call for that officer. We can tell you this morning he is okay. This happened last Friday over on Highway 224 while the police officer was performing a traffic stop. You can see from the video a second car comes up and hits the officer's patrol car. Authorities say it's this exact kind of behavior that they're going to look for during an enforcement mission happening today. This is also a reminder that it is the law. It is the law in Oregon to move over for emergency vehicles or slow down by at least 5 miles an hour.
An Oregon man was arrested in Washington, D.C. after finding several weapons inside his car. Officers say 23-year-old Nolan Churin from Myrtle Point had guns, knives, a sword, a bow and arrow, among other things. They say that there was also a tricycle strapped to the roof of his car. Churin faces multiple weapons charges, and investigators are still trying to figure out why he was in D.C. in the first place.
Portland officials say crime overall has actually gone down near 2 of the city's recently opened overnight shelters, but the numbers show that certain crimes have gone up in those areas. The Portland Police Strategic Services Division tracked the number of crimes at the overnight shelters on Southwest 2nd Avenue and the one over on North Williams Avenue. 6 months after the Southwest 2nd shelter opened up, aggravated assaults and robberies were down in that area, but vehicle theft and drug offenses were up. The area near North Williams, that North Williams shelter, showed small decreases in aggravated assault and vandalism, but nearly double the amount of vehicle thefts. Portland Mayor Keith Wilson continues to say that the city will crack down on crime in neighborhoods with shelters, but people who live in those neighborhoods still have plenty of concerns.
You have a shelter, you're going to see an increase in street sweeping, graffiti abatement. We're going to focus on addressing drug use and drug dealing. Those are all the things that we're going to see, you're going to see mitigated and reduced dramatically.
No matter how the City Hall wants to jigger the numbers, I mean, rocks are hard and water's wet, and people can see with their own eyes and the results of what's happening.
We have more on the crime numbers tracked by the Portland Police Strategic Services Division, available at KGW.com. Meanwhile, an investigation by the City of Portland's watchdog found a local towing company is charging nearly 5 times more than others for the very same services. The city's ombudsman's office looked at incidents where police responded to a crash or a breakdown and then called for a tow truck on the driver's behalf. It was found that the company called Elite Towing was charging significantly more money, and while that itself is not illegal, the city's watchdog says it does point to a problem with the city's towing contracts, which fall into 2 categories: hazard tows and private tows. Hazard tow rates have a set price, but private ones do not.
You could call it a loophole, whatever you want, but I think the city should regulate these particular types of tows to protect community members from really high charges.
Private tows are often used by police after crashes or after breakdowns to avoid issuing a citation and reducing the paperwork for drivers. PBOT oversees the towing contract for the city. It suggests that drivers call around for the best rates. And we also reached out to Elite Towing about this, but we never heard back.
Your time now is 8:39, taking a live look over the city right now. It is beautiful from what it looks like. Now, it looked the same yesterday, but it was pretty toasty, as some would say. But today, we're going to expect some relief, right, Chris?
Yeah, we're certainly going to cool it down at least a good 6 or 8 degrees for most of the Willamette Valley today. As we look live from our Wells Fargo Sky Camera, 61. It is cooler actually right now than it was 24 hours ago at PDX. We'll switch gears real quick. Speaking of cool, you can't even see the beach here. This is a live look from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. If you could see, you'd see Cascade Head off in the distance, but of course we are fogged in with a marine layer, a little mist there. It's 57 as well. Check this out. This is the visible satellite imagery from this morning, and you can plainly see now that we've got the light of day how the marine layer has worked its way up into the nooks and crannies in the Coast Range. That's always, I'm kind of a geek this way, but I think this is kind of cool to look at. In any event, we did get some marine intrusion as far north as the Kelso-Longview area, and I've started to see a few clouds try to work their way into Vancouver as well, but that's about the extent. That will start retreating as we go through the day today. The other thing I wanted to point out now is that we have the light of day. You can see the fire and the smoke from the Cram fire burning in eastern Jefferson County. We continue with the wind forecast, which will be gusty through the gorge and across central Oregon today. That's not good news. There is, of course, an ongoing air quality alert for Jefferson County, as there is a red flag warning for the increased fire danger because of the gusty wind in the forecast today through the East Gorge and much of central and eastern Oregon. That is not going to help the firefighting effort there. The smoke from the Cram fire, by the way, will continue to blow across north central Oregon, out across Wheeler and Grant County, so John Day over towards Baker City and up towards the Wallowas. So be aware of that. Today and tomorrow, the prevailing wind direction is generally west to east. So folks in eastern Oregon will have a hazy sky. 93, 94 in the Dalles this afternoon, low 90s across central Oregon, upper 80s. So a change of pace from the high 90s that we saw yesterday. And that downward trend in the temperatures continues into the weekend. I've got us at 86 tomorrow, 80 on Saturday, maybe not getting out of the 70s for highs on Sunday. All right, let's get you back to that traffic alert near the convention center. You're looking live right now as Portland police have Northeast Holiday blocked off between 2nd and MLK. That is the convention center MAX station on the right-hand side of your screen. We don't have a lot of details here other than this is some sort of an assault investigation from something that happened earlier this morning. The transit stop there is closed, so the traffic alert for TriMet riders is that MAX blue, green, and red line riders, the trains are not stopping at the convention center. So you're going to need to board and disboard at the Rose Quarter Transit Center. And of course, as we mentioned, Holiday is blocked between 2nd and MLK. We'll keep you posted as Sunrise rolls on after this break.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
I'm Christine Pitawanich. If you're looking to nail down some fun weekend plans, we've got to look at some of the events happening in our area. First, it's Portland Pride Weekend. There are several events around the city, including the big Waterfront Festival. It runs Saturday and Sunday at Waterfront Park. Also, there's a parade kicking off Sunday morning at 11 in the North Park blocks. Then it ends near the waterfront. You can also check out a block party in Old Town Saturday and Sunday afternoon. Check out portlandpride.org for the full schedule. Or you can also head to North Portland for a weekend of jazz. It's the 45th annual Cathedral Park Jazz Festival, Friday through Sunday. The festival is free to attend. It features local and regional jazz, blues, soul, and Latin artists in a beautiful setting under the St. John's Bridge. Check out jazzoregon.org for the lineup. You can also head to the Japanese Garden in Portland's Washington Park for the Behind the Shoji Summer Marketplace. It's running through September 1st. The market includes a show and sale of Japanese and Japanese-inspired art and decor. The market is included with admission to the garden. And finally, for all the bookworms out there, head to Vancouver for the Northwest Book Fair on Saturday. It's at the Fort Vancouver Barracks from 10 until 3. The event features more than 60 local authors, creative workshops, kids activities, food trucks, and of course, a bunch of books. Visit northwestbookfair.com for the details. And for more weekend inspiration, you can check out the 8 Things to Do article. It's up each week at kgw.com.
Hundreds of interns are putting what they learned in college classrooms to use at Nike. So the Nike Intern Combine is a highly competitive program that reels in about 70,000 applicants, but they only take about 200 students. Sophia Bell, you may remember that name. She was a basketball standout at Jesuit High School here locally. She currently plays basketball at the University of Oregon, and she told us that this program is opening up her eyes to other opportunities when she's done playing hoops.
I'm working in women's basketball footwear as a product line management intern, so I've had the chance to work on a brief for an upcoming shoe in summer 2027.
Those students still have another couple of weeks to go with that Nike internship, but today is the really big day when they present their projects to Nike managers.
Time now is 8:46, taking a live look from our Rose City sky cams. Looking pretty out there, looking bustling out there. Chris McGinnis is going to walk us through what we can expect for today and through the rest of the week.
Well, cooler for sure. Here's a look back, guys, at some of the high temperatures that we hit yesterday. These are not record highs, but certainly very warm stuff. 98 in Troutdale and Eugene. PDX officially at the airport hit 97. Again, not a record, but certainly hot enough. Vancouver 96. Kelso hit 96 yesterday, and Astoria, again, not a record, but the North Oregon coast was pretty warm as well. Astoria getting up to 79. That, of course, being our warmest day of the year thus far at PDX at 97 degrees. All right, are you done with the heat? Yeah, okay. Well, we're done with the heat for several days, not just my 7-day forecast, but this is the outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. What you're looking at is the chance of above or below average temperatures. So the orange and reds on here indicate the percentage chance of above average. The blues represent the percentage chance of below averages. And you see that we're in the gray. What does that mean? That means there's no strong sign of major heat in our forecast over the next 7 to 10 days. So that's really the big takeaway from that graphic. It's 61. Last check at PDX, 60 in Hillsborough. Hillsborough, again, was in the upper 90s yesterday. Eugene was just shy of 100. You're 60 right now. The east side of the state, though, will be quite warm again today. 75 in the Dalles, 75 in Pendleton. Meanwhile, the beach, it's cloudy. The fog is trying to lift a little bit in Lincoln City. There's a live look from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera on the beach in Lincoln City, where it's 57 degrees. You can see the low clouds now that we've got the light of day here have really shrouded in the Oregon coast, and it's really cool to watch the clouds just kind of work their way into the higher terrain there in the Coast Range. We did try to get a little bit of a intrusion here, that marine layer, into as far as portions of Clark County, or at least Cowlitz County. I did see some clouds trying to make their way into the northern part of the Portland metro area as well, but it looks like those are now beginning to retreat. Meanwhile, now that we have the light of day, we can see the fire and the smoke burning from the Cram fire in Jefferson County, where of course there are ongoing air quality alerts. The breeze today will be strong east of the Cascades and through the Columbia Basin. There is a red flag warning for high fire danger there today and tomorrow, which is not great for the firefighting effort there. The smoke plume from that Cram fire will continue to blow across central and east central Oregon. So Grant, Wheeler counties, Crook County, up to Baker and Wallowa counties, you guys are going to see and probably even smell the smoke in the air. Madras gets to 96 today with a gusty northwest breeze developing this afternoon. Central Oregon, as we mentioned, hazy sunshine for you folks, especially as you get through the blues and up towards Baker City with a high of about 92 today. The Columbia River Gorge, the East Gorge will be quite warm and very windy as well. West winds 15 to 25 with higher gusts. At the coast, cloud cover burning off to reveal some sunshine and cool, comfortable daytime highs in the 60s. And the Willamette Valley not as hot. We've got maybe 89 or 90 in Salem. In fact, you know what? If you've been watching us throughout the morning, our modeling actually dropped the temperature in Salem by 1 degree. But the point is that we are confident we will be quite a bit cooler today than yesterday. 87 in Battleground, Vancouver 89 in our 7-day forecast. Again, showing a nice cooling trend going into the weekend. Sunday might be a day where we wake up to thick morning clouds over downtown Portland before we reveal afternoon sunshine. That'll result in certainly some cooler temperatures as we go into that part of our forecast. All right, back to the drive. The traffic alert that we've been following this morning. We are looking live right now from the convention center. Photojournalist Chad Dehart on scene. Portland police leading an investigation at the convention center max station right now. That is closed to max traffic, and Northeast Holiday is closed as well. So for TriMet riders, the blue, green, and red lines are not making stops at the convention center. You're going to have to use the Rose Quarter Transit Center instead. Northeast 2nd Avenue is also closed, or I should say Holiday is closed between MLK and 2nd. All right, inbound Sunset right now, still pretty slow at the Sylvan Hill. I-5 northbound, a little heavy over the Markham Bridge as well. And last but not least, the I-5 drive through North Portland out of Clark County. The end of the line has made its way down to the Expo Center, but from there, you're chugging along the rest of the way down to the Rose Quarter. About 24 minutes from bridge to bridge, guys.
Birthday time. It is birthday time here in the Sunrise Show, and we have 3 to highlight this morning, starting with Emma hugging that tree out there in St. Helens to celebrate birthday number 15. Next up, it's Hayden, another teenager. He is 17 years old today. And then finally, we have the ageless Molly. Ageless because she didn't tell us how old she is. But we celebrate your birthday nonetheless, Molly, in Milwaukee. If you've got a birthday shout out that you want us to share on the air, you can email it to us, birthdays@kgw.com.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
In a wrap of our top stories this morning, a local chiropractor is in custody after ICE agents detained him while he was dropping his child off at Beaverton Preschool. An ICE spokesperson told us that he is an Iranian citizen who entered the country illegally but overstayed his terms of his visa. His wife denies that her husband overstayed. ICE told us officers tried to arrest him during a traffic stop, but he asked to drop his child off first. An Oregon man was arrested in Washington, D.C. after finding several weapons inside his car. Officers say 23-year-old Nolan Churin from Myrtle Point had guns, knives, a sword, a bow and arrow, among other things. They say there was also a tricycle strapped to the top of his car. Churin faces multiple weapons charges, and investigators are still trying to figure out why he was in D.C. in the first place. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek has declared a state of emergency for the Cram fire burning in Central Oregon. Since the fire began on Sunday, it's exploded to more than 64,000 acres and is still 0% contained. Some 1,200 people are now under evacuation orders in both the Jefferson and Wasco counties.
And wind is expected to pick up in that part of the state today and tomorrow. Red flag warnings for increased fire danger, East Gorge, Columbia Basin. West side of the state, sunny, cooler. 89 today, 86 on Friday, and a really lovely weekend forecast. All right, let's get you out the door. And kind of our latest development this morning is ongoing police activity right now at the Max Convention Center stop. There is an investigation there right now, and Northeast Holiday is closed between 2nd and MLK, and no Max trains are stopping at the Convention Center stop. They're asking riders of the blue, green, and Max red lines, blue, red, and green lines to use the Rose Quarter Transit Center instead. We're working to get more details on this, and we hope to bring those to you coming up on KGW News at noon. There's a live look at your drive. I-5 southbound still heavy. Rolling through North Portland, that's a 25-minute commute to get you basically from the Interstate Bridge to the Fremont Bridge. So that's our big slow spot right now. The rest of the drive, no other major unexpected delays at this point.
All right, if you're watching us right now on KGW Plus, we encourage you to continue to do so every single weekday because the final 2 hours of our show are only available here on Plus. That's right, KGW Plus is your home for the Sunrise Show, weekday mornings between 7 and 9 a.m. You can check out more Sunrise tomorrow. We'll have the news at noon coming up here, of course, at noon. We close out today's morning show with a live look from I believe this is the Rose City Skycam that shows the Moda Center right there on the left side of your screen. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.